Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and it is Monday, which means that it is time for my weekly catch-up. So honestly, a lot has actually happened since I did my last weekly catch-up. I think that the last time that I spoke to you guys, I was in the middle of trying to finish Echoes and Empires by Morgan Rhodes, but I wasn't too sure on how that was going. That ended up being my first DNF of the year. You guys should be proud of me. I did actually DNF a book. I was 30% of the way into it, and I just still wasn't feeling it. I wasn't feeling the character. I wasn't feeling the plot, just anything that was happening. So I skipped to the end, and it ended a little bit cliffhangery for me. So I was just like, no, I don't need to deal with this. I'm done. So we put it down. I don't think I even bothered rating it really. On NetGalley, if you're going to review something, you do have to put a star rating in there. So I did kind of put in a neutral, like 3-star kind of a feeling, but I did mention in my actual review that I didn't finish it. So, you know, it wasn't for me. So the next arc that I ended up picking up is called The Bone Spindle by Leslie Vedder. This one is slow going, but I think it's just because I've been in more of a romance mood lately. The Bone Spindle is more of a gender-swapped Sleeping Beauty, and so the prince has been put to sleep by a curse and has to be woken up by a kiss. And the girl who finds him is very fantasy female Indiana Jones type character. Her partner is very warrior-like. She's like the heir to a big warrior clan or country. I'm not sure how big her realm ends up being that she ended up running away from, but she is the heir to it, and she has been trained in all sorts of warfare and stuff, but she ran away from her responsibilities, and she's trying to make it as kind of a mercenary. She has a gigantic war axe that she swings. Her name is Shane, and the other character's name is Fee. Fee is the Indiana Jones type character who ends up having to kiss the prince at the end. That's not a spoiler, that's literally the plot of the book. It's been good. The humor is entertaining, the story is entertaining, the plot is good. It's reading a little bit young. It's I don't know, it's just on the younger side of YA, and I think that's kind of why I haven't been putting as much effort into reading it as I could have, but I've been enjoying it. It's just a little bit slow going, because I also ended up picking up Jade City by Fonda Lee. So Jade City has been blowing up all over BookTube because the third book just came out, so the trilogy is finished, and I am late to the game, almost as always. So I finally picked up Jade City this week. You guys, I read this book in 3 days, and it's a chunky, like, it's 500 pages, 500 pages of fantasy. So that hasn't happened to me in a very long time, but I picked up the audiobook, which is phenomenal, by the way. The audiobook of Jade City is honestly really good, and I loved it. So I listened to it nonstop at work this week instead of any of the other things that I was supposed to be listening to, and that's okay. And I absolutely loved the characters. I was absolutely heartbroken at some places. The way that this ended was really good. I would like to punch Barrow in the face. But other than that, I cannot wait. I actually have ordered a copy of Jade War, and that will be coming shortly, and I can move on to this series, hopefully next month, because I've got a couple of other things that I do need to read this month still, but I can't wait to move on in the series. I ended up giving this 5 out of 5 stars. The other thing that absolutely derailed my reading was after reading Jade City and kind of working on Echoes and Empires, I was really feeling a romance. It's almost February 14th, Valentine's Day, so I was feeling something lovey-dovey and happy, and I picked up the Bromance book club, which I read in literally one sitting. It was like 8 o'clock at night. I decided I was feeling a romance novel, and I picked this up on Friday night and literally finished it like 3 hours later. I adored this. I loved the characters, I loved the storyline, and I'm not usually about the second chance romances. I just like, you know, the meeting of the couple and all of that stuff, but the way that this was written was so good. I ended up adoring every single second of this. I laughed out loud several times. It just made me so happy. The ending was so good. The entire plot line in which they use romance novels to speak women's love language was hilarious, honestly, and it resonated because it's a lot of it was true for me, at least. I can't speak to everybody, but it was true for me. So this was fantastic. I need to read the rest of the books in the series because I have a feeling that Mac is going to be getting, most of the series is out already. I have a feeling that Mac has a book. I haven't looked at any of the future ones to see who they are about, but I can't wait. And I have a feeling I know who he's going to fall in love with too, which I have mixed feelings about because I didn't really love her sister in this. She just kind of came off really as a spoiled brat, and I know that she's got backstory and everything that she needs to work on, but it just, I don't know, we'll see. But I do want to read the rest of these books because the humor in it was hilarious, the concept is fantastic, the characters were super lovable, and it was pretty hot, honestly. The smut level in this was not like the highest that I've ever read, but it was pretty good. So that's definitely on the list of things that I would like to move on to at some point. It's also important for me to mention that the Bromance Book Club was on my TBR for this month, so that is one book down and out of the way. Future plans for the week do include, I would like to read The Bear and the Nightingale. I do have the audiobook for that. Mixed reviews on Twitter from when I asked if the audiobook was good or not, but I'm gonna give it a shot because it's only like 8 hours long, and I listened at 2 times the speed, so I could bang that out in one day easily. The other thing that I would love to pick up this week is King of Battle and Blood, because Z from the channel You Can't Catch Z, she just finished this last week, and she has been raving about it. So it's a smutty vampire romance, and honestly, sign me the hell up, because that was my jam all through middle school and high school, and I think it's time to go back to my roots a little bit. And I spent many years reading solely romance, and I've been enjoying the romance that I've been reading lately. So we're gonna see how this goes. I also started to pick up, and I don't really know if I'm going to stick with it or not, but I did start to pick up a book by Tracy Ward, and it's called Alpha Foxtrot. I'll have to pop a picture of it over here. It's on KU, and I am a sucker for sports romances, and I am a sucker for Tracy Ward. I don't think she's a super popular author over on KU. I haven't heard anybody talk about her, but I have read a couple of books from her, one of which is The Seventh Hour, which is fantastic. Essentially, that's about a future in which the world does not, the Earth does not revolve as quickly as it does now, so days are measured in hours, I guess you could kind of say. Seasons, I guess, are measured in hours, if that makes more sense. So the entire world, as the Earth revolves, the light shifts and it changes the temperature, but it lasts for an entire season versus the way that it does now. And there was a cute little romance in it. It's a YA. I don't know, it has more of a fantasy feel to it than a dystopian feel to it. But essentially when the Earth slowed down, I don't know why I'm talking about this. This is not a future plan for me, but this was my introduction to Tracy Ward, so we're just gonna go with it. These weekly catch-ups were honestly meant to be more chatty than anything else, so expect a lot of tangents, I suppose. But in The Seventh Hour, apparently when the Earth started slowing down, some people retreated into the mountains, and some people retreated onto boats, and they don't really agree with each other. There's some kind of rift that happened, but they have to trade with each other to survive. And so one of these boats, the people that live on the boats never get off of the boats unless they're trading, and one of them crashes, and this girl is washed up onto the mountains, and she's stuck with the mountain people until her family on the boats can come and get her, which is going to take something like an entire year because they follow the sunlight. It was really good. I haven't reread it in a while, and talking about it now, I really want to reread it again. I remember really liking it. Was YA, or maybe new adult even, so it's not really a smutty romance, but it was a cute one, and it was a fun world to imagine, so I really liked all of that. All of that to say, I started reading Alpha Foxtrot this morning, and this is about a football player who is going through some reputation issues, not as bad as they could be, but they're not great, who agrees to join a very Dancing with the Stars-esque TV show. His partner is a former Broadway star. She's the previous season's winner. They kind of don't love each other very much at first because she thinks that he's just a dumb jock with anger issues, and they haven't met yet. I don't know what he thinks of her yet. I'm very early on, so I don't know. Well, we're gonna see how it goes. There's some cheating-y stuff happening. It's a gray line for me. Usually the cheating in romance novels is an absolute no-no, automatic DNF kind of a thing. I've done it before. I don't love it when one of the main characters is cheating on their significant other to be with the person that they end up with. I just think that if you're going to do it, you should just break up with them, and it's an awful plot point, honestly. That's my own personal opinion. This one, she's kind of the other woman. Like, she's not cheating on her significant other. She's just not being a great person because the guy that she's sleeping with is married. So it's walking a very thin line for me, and I think that if it crosses any other lines, I'm probably just going to put it down. But so far I am intrigued. So we're going to keep reading Alpha Foxtrot. I would like to pick up King of Battle and Blood, and I would also like to pick up The Bear and the Nightingale. We will see how that goes this upcoming week. Other things, I have continued watching Teen Wolf. I am in Season 3B, which is Void Styles, and we all love Void Styles because he can really act. Dylan O'Brien as Void Styles is just, ugh, it's so good. Heartbreaking, but good. And so we're almost to the end of that season, and I am loving it. I love everything about Teen Wolf, honestly. I am that bitch. We also started watching The Legend of Vox Machina, which is on Amazon Prime. I don't know if you guys have heard anything about this at all, but it is based off of one of Critical Role's campaigns that they ran. And I believe all of the people from the actual campaign on the YouTube channel are voicing their characters in the TV show as well. It's just fantastic. It's gory. It's definitely adult. Like, it's not meant for kids. It's hilarious. There's so much that is wrong. They're just a hot mess. Every single one of them is just a hot freaking mess. It's so funny. It's so good. If you haven't seen The Legend of Vox Machina, definitely go check it out. But yeah, I guess that is all of the stuff that I've been up to this past week. I am really surprised that I finished 2.5 books, I guess, since we're still reading The Bone Spindle. But I'm pretty surprised at myself. I haven't had that good of a reading week yet this year. January was a pretty slow reading month for me, but hopefully this trend continues next week or the week after. No, I think the week after next week is Shiftathon, which I entirely plan on being a part of. I have a few different books that I'm thinking of that I would like to do for all of those prompts. If you don't know what Shiftathon is, it's a week-long readathon that is entirely based off of paranormal creatures for Pharaoh which is Fantasy Romance February. So I am trying to get my fantasy romance on. I have not read anything in that genre really in a while, so it is time to dip my toes back into the water, and I would really like to start reading more romance again on my channel. Speaking of reading more romance, I feel like this is probably the best place for me to announce that I actually got accepted as a Hello Lovely rep, which I'm pretty excited about. So I will soon have a few boxes from Hello Lovely to open for you guys. If you don't know what a Hello Lovely is, it is a romance subscription box and clothing boutique. So they do a lot of indie romances with like limited edition covers and stuff like that. But they also have an entire clothing boutique that has a lot of accessories, keychains, pens, stickers, and mugs, things like that in it that are all bookish. If you have not heard of them, you can go check out my description box down below because I will have a link down there with my rep code. I've got an order coming in from Hello Lovely with a couple of shirts that I ordered, and I'm pretty excited to show them to you guys. Expect a couple of videos filmed in them because honestly, they're super, super cute, and I really can't wait till they get here. I'll have a discount code down below. I'll get into all of that in my little spiel that I do at the end of the video, which I guess technically we are at. So don't forget to like this video if you liked it, and subscribe to my channel if you would like to see more content from me. Down below that in the description box, you're going to see my rep code for Hello Lovely, which is CAT15 for 15% off of your order on their website, next to my Unplugged box rep code, which is CAT5 for 5% off of your order on their website. And underneath that, you're going to see links to my Goodreads, my Twitter, and my Instagram in case you guys wanted to follow me on any of those. But that's it for me today, guys, so I guess I'll talk to you in my next video. Bye!